We'll play Felidar Garden. Blink, Atraxa. Do it again. Land, enchantment, creature, planeswalker, sorcery. Hi, it's Vex, and today we have an Atraxa deck. Nope, not my foil Atraxa deck. You wish, right? We have the Atraxa Grand Unifier deck. This is the art card here, and this is the deck. We have Atraxa Grand Unifier, and yes, if you could barely see it, this is the step incomplete one with a little Phyrexian glow in the dark. And yes, you can have the regular one, you can have the regular borderless foil, or you have, you know, the oil slick one. All these different Atraxas ready to go, or you just proxy up and use the art card. However you would like. Anyways, Atraxa is the same 4 colors as the original Atraxa. 3 green, white, blue, black, so actually 7 mana value instead of 4. But does have the same type, legendary creature, Phyrexian Angel, and keywords, flying, vigilance, death touch, haste. However, this Atraxa is a big 7/7 instead of a 4/4. Has nothing to do with proliferate. I was disappointed when this Atraxa was revealed and there was no proliferating. But, you know, it's always fun to make a deck out of Atraxas because she is so iconic. Then she has when Atraxa Grand Unifier, ETBs, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each card type, you may put a card of that type from among the reveal cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So if you have a dual type, you pick the type that it is, and then use that type, put in your hand. So if you have the this Atraxa is hinted to something. Card types are artifact, battle. Whoa, new card type we've never seen before. Creature, enchantment, instant, land, planeswalker, and sorcery are card types. In addition, there is the retired card type of tribal. We do have tribal cards in there. So what does our deck want to do? Well, our deck does want to play our 7 mana Atraxa, draw a bunch of cards. This is our card draw engine. Play at 7 mana, play at 9 mana, maybe play at 11 mana. Good card draw. Refills your hand. So this deck, this commander, Atraxa, wants you to have a deck full of lots of card types. Usually I don't play quote-unquote tribal cards or planeswalker cards, but they're very advantageous in this deck. And usually green decks, I shy away from mana rocks. But again, having artifacts is advantageous for Atraxa because it diversifies your card types. Okay, so this deck basically is a ETB value deck or a blink deck. Kind of like our original Elesh Norn deck, except for in more colors. And yes, we do have an Elesh Norn right here. We have the great Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines, in the oil slick. I think oil slick is all black and white because all the black stuff is raised. I'm not sure you can see it, but all the black stuff is raised up, and the white is just the foiling. So you have Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines, and then you combine with Yarok, the other 3 colors. You get 4 colors that you could do doubles your ETB triggers. Elesh Norn was also a blink ETB value deck right here. I mean, Atraxa is very open-ended, which is really cool. I like open-ended commanders. You can build different kinds of decks with it. But the main part is we want value. We're all about value. So Elesh Norn lets you get a second ETB trigger and shuts down your opponent's ETB triggers, which is great. Yarok, the Desecrated, gets you a second ETB trigger, which is great. And then Panharmonicon gets you another ETB trigger. So technically, if you have all 3 of these on the battlefield with Atraxa, you get her trigger 4 times. Hopefully you got a Reliquary Tower so you keep all the cards because you're going to be drawing tons and tons of cards. But if you have all 3 of these on the battlefield, anything in your deck does wild and crazy things. Anyways, before we move on to the formal deck tech, don't forget to have your tokens, as I mention all the time. All these fun little tokens. Always have tokens to represent your game state because nowadays in Commanders, more and more things make tokens, and it's always good to have things that represent your game state. I also have the deck list in the description below if you want to check that out. You know, click on the TCG Player affiliate link. Help me, you know, help support the channel and such like that. Anyways, we are going to go right to the deck tech. The first part of the deck tech is the 3 cards I mentioned. They just get you incremental value from your blinking, your ETB cards. So every one of them does an additional, it doesn't double, it just does the additional ETB trigger +1. Elesh Norn is the best of the bunch because it shuts down opponent's ETB triggers and is a big 4/7. Huge creature. Yark is really good too. Death Touch, Lifelink. Panharmonicon only does creatures and artifacts, so beware of that. It doesn't do like Field of Dead. These will do Field of Dead, stuff like that too. Our first set of creatures are the creatures that blink things. The really good ones are these top 4 right here, which are ETB Blink. Meaning they get an ETB trigger and they blink, can cost more ETB triggers. So imagine if you had your Yark out in play. You play Charming Prince. The main part is the ETBs right here. Exile another target creature you own. Return it to a battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. This ETBs exiles 2 things, hypothetically. Say 2 random creatures here. And then, right, if you have this ETBs twice right here, and these come in, and say these have ETB triggers, they will trigger twice. So it's kind of like quadrupling your triggers by having a blink creature with an ETB. So these are really good. This ETB blinks a creature. This ETB blinks a non-angel. And yes, Atraxa's angel, so you cannot use Restoration Angel to blink Atraxa. However, it's very good because we're playing mostly non-angels in our deck. Can blink most anything. Yorion, ETBs, blinks as many things as you want, and then come back later. Now, these are the multi-ETB creatures, not ETB creatures, blink creatures, I should say. We have Displacer Kitten. Let's read that one first. I really like this one. When you cast a non-creature spell, which, you know, we're diversifying our deck with instants and sorceries, artifacts, planeswalkers, and such. Exile up to 1 target non-land permanent you control, then return it. So instant ETB when you cast something. It's really good. Emil the Bless. Exile another target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So a little ETB, a little trinket text there. That's his Deep Dwelling. I'm about to say that's his Oracle, but no, Deep Dwelling. Beginning of end step, exile 1 target creature you control, then return it. So that is a end step ETB, just like Soul Herder. Right here, beginning of end step, you may exile another target creature and then return it back to the battlefield. So you have ETB signatures. These are multi-ETB and return ETB, ETB. Next set of cards are the non-creature ETB. And before I go here, I totally forgot to mention Thassa Deep Dwelling, as I mentioned before, is an enchantment creature. So you can choose enchantment or creature for its type. So having dual types like an artifact creature, enchantment creature are really good. So we have here, we have the 2 planeswalkers. Again, I really don't like having a lot of planeswalkers in EDH until this most recent set, actually, when they came out with Eternal Wanderer. Because they're very vulnerable. They sit there, you pay a lot of mana, they don't do very much, and they die easily because everybody loves to attack planeswalkers because it's like free value, free attack. However, the Eternal Wanderer is insanely good. 4 white. No more than 1 creature can attack the Eternal Wanderer each combat, so it kind of protects itself with its static ability, which is really good. This is the blink right here. Exile up to 1 target artifact or creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its own control at the beginning of player's next end step. They're doing the beginning of player's next end step to try to reduce infinite loop combos. Then you make a white samurai. And the cool part is her ultimate is usable the turn you play her. And it's cool. It's like a tragic arrogance. For each player, choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control, not the chosen this way. So it's kind of like a little mini board wipe. You choose your weakest creatures, you choose your strongest, then you keep them. Insane and limited. Then you have Venser, 3 white-blue, may he rest in peace, because he's kind of dead, kind of back alive, and New Phyrexia in a way, or Phyrexia all would be 1. You have +2, blink something, same thing, comes back at the beginning of the next end step. Creatures are unblockable this turn. Wow. You can do an Alpha Strike with that one. Then -8. You get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, exile target permanent. That really never happens, but that's why planeswalkers are kind of weak. But I do like Venser, because Venser could be a win condition because you make everything unblockable, or can do blinking and goes up to 5 loyalty. Then we have Sword of Hearth and Home and Teleportation Circle. Teleportation Circle is kind of like the Thassa Deep Dwelling, blink at end of turn. Sword of Hearth and Home. This does have the magical keyword here. I guess not keyword, but ability. Has protection from green and white, and whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage, exile up to 1 target creature you own, then search your library for a basic land card. Put both cards into the battlefield under your control, then shuffle. This is the instant blink run right there. And then we have the spell ones here. Instant speed, of course, so you can save your things and go or get instant value. Ephemerate, exile 1 thing. Ghostly Flicker, exile 2 things. You can exile 2 lands, so kind of get your mana back somehow. Eerie Interlude, exile any number of creatures and return them back until the end step. These flicker right away. So this is really good to save yourself from board wipe. The end step clause actually is really helpful in this case. So we have more blink effects there. The next section is our card draw section. And I really like this because these are very cheap card draw. Well, except for Cloud Blazer, which you put in a more expensive card draw pile. We have Esper Sentinel. And I have this cool little one right here. Esper Sentinel, a little sketch one. And it doesn't have any ETB effects, but it is a dual type artifact creature. That's why we have it. And it is Esper Sentinel. And it's very good. Baleful Strix, Coiling Oracle. Essentially ETB, draw a card. This can put a land into play or something. Spirited Companion, same thing, ETB, draw a card. Then we have my favorite, Sicarian Infiltrator from Warhammer. You gotta read this super carefully because it's 2 in a blue, flash, right? So you can play instant speed, 1/2. When Sicarian Infiltrator ETBs, draw a card. That's cool. Let's just play, we play our 3 mana ETB, draw a card. Flash speed too, but it has squad. As additional cost to cast a spell, you may pay 2 any number of times. When a creature enters this battlefield, create that many tokens that are copies of it. So, boom, let's say a squad 1, right? I play this, and then ETBs, it makes a copy, right? And then this ETB triggers draw a card, this ETB triggers draw a card, right? So the cool part is let's say you have our friend Yurk on the battlefield, and not a lot of people know about this card, but from the Warhammer, because it's from Warhammer, maybe it's a little obscure on how it works in the wording, right? Let's say I squad again with Yurk on the battlefield. I squad here, right? It says ETB make another creature, except for I double it. Boom. ETB make 2 creatures. The card draw is doubled. The card draw on each of these ETB doubled. I get 6 cards. So it's just like a Mole Drifter, but kind of insane. So that's how that works. Speaking of Mole Drifter, right here, you could just pay 2 in the blue, evoke it, draw 2 cards, it will die. Or play 4 in the blue, draw 2 cards. Then with Yurk on the battlefield, draw 4. Cloud Blazer is another Mole Drifter, except it doesn't have evoke. It just does cost a full 5, but you gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. So that's a creature card draw section. We have the non-creature card draw, plus the bonus, Lorn of the Third Path, Ristic Study, Black Market Connection, Great Henge. Yes, this is a ramp and card draw at the same time. This is also ramp and card draw at the same time. Then we have a secret creature card draw. It does have an ETB effect of destroying an artifact or enchantment, and you and a target opponent each draw a card. So just an emergency. You can give your opponent a card, and give yourself a card, give your weakest opponent a card, and get yourself one of the good cards you need. And then our next section, which we're actually just going to do it live right here, instead of the card draw section, we have the removal section, which Lorn is part of. You have Skyclave Apparition. Right there, when ETBs, you know, exile 4, something mana value 4 or less. Druid of Purification. ETB, you pick things that are not yours, destroy them. Let's actually read this card. This card is insane. In Commander, of course. 3 in the green. When ETB, starting with you, each player may choose an artifact or enchantment you don't control. Destroy each permanent chosen this way. Yes, it's a may choose, so they may team up against you and not choose anything, but come on. How can you deny value if you're a player? Hostage Taker. ETB, exile an artifact or creature as long as Hostage Taker remains exiled, and then you may actually play that card to unexile it and put it on your battlefield. Ravenous Chupacabra, ETB, destroy a creature. Venser, Shapeshifter, ETB, bounce a spell or a permanent. Massacre Worm, I love this one. Worm. ETB, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Very good with token decks. I have a lot of token decks in my play group, so this is extremely good. Then when a creature an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from battlefield or dies, essentially, that player loses 2 life. Noxious Gearhulk, ETB, destroy a creature, gain some life. We have another bonus one here. This is considered removal because it removes a creature and adds 1 to your field. Is Agent of Treachery. Right there, ETB, steal something. So now this is good to have multiple Yarks and stuff into play. We are, of course, playing towards the strength of our commander here by having a lot of instants and sorceries and other type of cards. We do have a removal package. I know we're more biased towards instances, but, you know, instant speed removal is so good that I'd rather just not sacrifice that. But we do have generically good stuff 1-for-1 removal, Void Ren, Assassin's Trophy, Anguish Unmaking, Swords of Plowshares. Then we have our tribal removal, Nameless Inversion, +3/-3. Then Crib Swap, exile target creature, controller makes a 1/1 shapeshifter. So those are really good single point removal. Then moving these aside, we have our multi-point removal right here. We do have a Sorcery and Toxic Deluge right there. And you know what? I just noticed that might be our only sorcery. I might have to change this up a little bit. But this is what happens when you do live deck tech and you realize you've been really concentrating on other types of cards that you just forgot about sorceries. So we might make a correction towards the end of the deck tech and help ourselves out. But let's keep moving on. These are multi-creature, multi-item removal. Cyclonic Rift, Toxic Deluge, Farewell. Farewell is super insane here. Grasp of Fate. It's like a triple Oblivion Ring. Exiles multiple things from each opponent, one thing from each opponent until this leaves the battlefield. But if you have multiple ETB doublers like Yark, you can remove up to 2 things per player. Now, you can get blown out by this getting destroyed and everything coming back with their ETB triggers. So just be careful with that. This is an enchantment. There we go. More sorceries. That's right. We have 2 ETB creatures. Timeless Witness. Get something back from the graveyard. Can do it twice with Eternalize. Then we have Sun Titan, ETB. Bring things back from the graveyard. 3 mana value or less. Balgate Recovery. Bring something back from the graveyard. Regrowth effect. Eerie Ultimatum. Now this can save you if everybody board wipes you, and then you bring it back. Return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is a big sorcery that I wanted to include. There's our sorceries. You got 3 so far. Still good. More than Planeswalkers, right? We're rounding out the deck with some utility cards. I call them the other category. That doesn't fit neatly into other categories. We do have some Landfall, which is ETB as well. We have Avengers Zendikar, has an ETB trigger and has a Landfall ETB. So very good finisher there. I know it's in the other pile, staple of Landfall decks, but a staple of ETB decks that have green in them. And then Feldar Retreat. This is such a good card. It goes in a lot of decks, actually. It goes in token decks, +1/+1 counter decks, Landfall decks, ETB decks. 3 and a white. Landfall, create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. They gain vigilance until end of turn. So ETB, good stuff. Soul Guide Lantern actually does have an ETB effect, but mainly for the card draw and the Graveyard Hate. That's included in every deck because I believe having Graveyard Hate just hang out there, people are just afraid of it. You just crack it instant speed. No mana necessary, destroys graveyards. Except yours, of course, so you could do your recursion and stuff. Then Gonti, Lord of Luxury. If you know me, I love stealing things from my opponent. Agent Treachery is one of my favorite cards as well. 2 black. Death Touch, 1 ETBs. Look at the top 4 cards of target opponent's library. Exile one of them, and you may pay them with any color of mana. The last section before our mana base and such is the ramp package. We have Great Henge again. Then I love when we're playing 4 colors or more with green, Bloom Tender, and then green and white, Fey Barrow Elder. Add 1 mana of the combination of color permanents that you have. So extremely good mana producers there. Then we usually have Cultivate or Nature's Lore here, which are sorceries, but I feel like having creature ETBs is a little bit better because you have more creature blink synergies. So sometimes it's like a give and take, right? If you want more sorceries, increase the Cultivate count, replace Wood Elves with like a Cultivate or something. That'll increase your sorcery, replace Thought Vessel with a Cultivate. But again, you have 100 cards, and you have like tons of card types, so sometimes you don't have to extremely maximize Atraxa by having an even number of types of cards. I mean, you always have tons of lands. I think the deck plays nearly 40 lands. So I've come to a realization that having 3 sorceries and 2 planeswalkers is okay, 2 tribals. Sometimes you'll hit, sometimes you'll not. I think Atraxa drawing 4 cards is pretty good. Now drawing 7 cards is insane. So I think our deck is, a Fabric Art deck is made to draw those 4 cards with, we have a land, creature, and then instant is our high count. We have a bunch of artifacts, and then we do have some planeswalkers, tribals, enchantments, such like that. So it's not a big deal if we have a little less of one or the other. We just want to play good stuff. Anyways, back to the ramp. We have Solemn Simulacrum. Again, can be replaced with a sorcery, but this is 2 types, artifact, creature, so it's extremely good, and a creature that ETBs. So this is made for the deck here. You have your Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, as I mentioned at the beginning of the deck tech, that I usually don't play this in green decks. I would probably rather play a Nature's Floor or 3 Visits. You can get an untapped green source or Shockland. So green source plus whatever color you need. So almost equivalent to Arcane Signet. Then Thought Vessel. We are drawing tons of cards. We do like tons of value. So Thought Vessel's there to keep our hand intact. The mana base is pretty straightforward and simple. We have our 4 Triumphs that we're allowed to play in this deck. We have 6 fetch lands, on-color fetches. I really only play off-color fetches when I really need to. I usually like to be in flavor and have on-color fetches. The other 2 good fetches, Prismatic Vista, Fabled Passage. I think the days of Terraformorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds are almost gone. They're still good for budget decks, some landfall decks. We have the multicolor lands, Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Mana Confluence. We have the 6 shock lands to pair with all of our fetch lands along with the Triumphs. Alrighty, going to the end here, we have our utility lands and the important ones, Reliquary Tower. As I mentioned, you can keep all your cards that Atraxa generates for you. Sometimes Commander players love value and they just can't get rid of all the cards. And sometimes you need all those cards to win the game. So Reliquary Tower, we have our Bojuka Bog, more Graveyard Hate, Bazeju. You know, what can I say? It's a channel land. You might get it off Atraxa that can kill some things. Instant speed, uncounterable. Yavimaya, make things green. It's just like a forest. And then Command Beacon. It's hard to have Command Beacon or these colorless utility lands inside a 4-color deck, but Command Beacon is really good because it's have a 7 mana value commander, so you can sack it, put Atraxa back to your hand, recast it for 7 mana, get more value. Field of Dead, more ETB synergies. That's some stage Vesuva, so you can copy things like Command Tower. Vesuva can ETB as a Bojuka Bog, exile things. If you need a Reliquary Tower, why not have another one of those? You can copy your opponent's cool stuff too, like Strip Mine or whatever. It's just really cool to copy things. It makes the game more interesting because you never know what you can copy. We have our basic lands from Phyrexia OB1. We have 1 less black because we have the Bojuka Bog, but lots of green because our deck is always base green. So anyways, that is the deck tech. Time to shuffle up all these cool cards right into the deck. So before we actually go into a little gold fishing, I want to remind you, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, hit notification bell to be alerted for new videos in the future. I have the deck list in the description below. And do not forget your tokens. That is right. We're going to shuffle this deck up and see what kind of insane value we can get from our Atraxa deck. And we'll be right back. All right. We are back. Turn 1. Atraxa, Grand Unifier. She's got a Unifier value all left and right. And I forgot to mention the deck tech, but Atraxa is a very special 7 power, 7 toughness. 7 power means 3 hits from her equals commander damage death. So don't forget about that important factoid. Any commander with above 7 power is extremely important in that way. 7 or 11 are important numbers. Let's see what we got here. Fetch land, 2 fetch lands, which is good. A Triumph, Mana Rock, some blinky things, and a sword. All very good. This does a little ramp. All right. This is a great hand. Let's keep this one. Remember, we just want to get our value, and then eventually play Atraxa to get more value when we need to refill our hand. Bazeju, that is also a spell land. But we'll start off with our Triumph. Easy as pie, right? Turn 2. Arcane Signet. Okay, more ramp. We'll do what every good Magic player does. We will play this. Not this. We'll play this. Here, Windswept Heath. And remember, this is double green. And then double white, and then we don't have black, so we need a lot of things, but we'll play Arcane Signet to get it all. So I think the next best thing is to get a shock land. So we'll go get a the reason I played Windswept Heath is I wanted to get a Godless Shrine for our double white requirements. We do have another green fetch, so that'll always get us a green fetch land if necessary, or a green shock land. Play our Godless Shrine, shock in there, we'll pay 2 life. All right, deck is shuffled up, ready to go. We'll hit our 2 life up. We'll play the better of the 2 mana rocks, Arcane Signet. Then we'll pass the turn. That's what turn 2 is all about, that little 2 mana ramp. Excellent. So let's move our stuff around. Blink deck. Make sure I have the blink word right there so you guys don't know. Sometimes I want to put Blink-182. We drew Solemn Simulacrum. I'm about to play Solemn Simulacrum. No, that's not how it works. So what can we do? Here, well, we'll play our land. Here we have 4 mana. So hypothetically, we could just that's why I got the white mana here. We could play, tap this, and sack this, get a green land. See, we can just get force if we don't want to get hurt again. We don't need another white. Maybe we need another black. Get overgrown tomb. Here we go. Maybe we need another blue. I don't think we need that much blue. So let's get the black. Shock ourselves. Tap this. Here. We still have the white. I know we're tapping on King Signet, but Thought Vessel. Right? We're gonna tap this. Tap this for Skyclave Apparition. We're just gonna exile something of our opponents. Their mana rock, perhaps. It's just good for us. We de-ramped them and ramped ourselves. Alright, so turn 4. We've already gained value, and they never get back. Even if they kill the Skyclave Apparition, those get 2/2. So that's what I love about that card. So turn 4. We get 5 mana. Draw a card, Meal the Blessed. Alright, this is where we play our Beseju. Unfortunately, we have to do that with 6. You can play Atraxa next turn if we get a land, but so we have choices here. Windswept Heath, not Windswept Heath, Sword of Heath, Hearth, and Home. God, that's hard again. Solemn Simulacrum. So I think what we could do is, if you're sure you could cast this without getting blown out, I would cast Sword of Hearth and Home right there because it uses the most amount of mana rather than Solemn Simulacrum. Equip this to the Skyclave Apparition right there. Attack with Skyclave Apparition, right? And then it says pro green, protection from green, protection from white, so you can attack the white player even if they have. This is not flying, even though it's a spirit. I know it's very tricky. So you can just attack their face here. And let's read this again. What deals dominant damage to player, exile up to 1 target creature you own, then search your library for a basic land, and put those cards on the battlefield under your control, and shuffle. So let's say we do connect. We're gonna search for our basic land. Right there. I think I do want more green. I'm so greedy. I love green mana. So let's get more green. Right there. Put into play. Tap, not tap. I always forget. Everything's tap, not tap. Oh, put into play. Untapped. Right? And then this, you can blink this, but it gets detached from the sword, and then you can exile another mana rock, de-ramp somebody else. It's fantastic. So let's shuffle the deck again here. We could use our Timeless Witness to get our land back if we need our land drop, which is excellent. That's what the card's there for. We could use our last 2 mana to just re-equip our Skyclave Apparition and Sword of Hearth and Home. With these cards not ready to go yet, then we will pass. Now we have our 7 Atraxa mana, which is fantastic there. We'll draw a card, Baleful Strix. We're not ready to just call it a day yet. I think what we'll do is we'll play Baleful Strix, try to spike a land, hopefully. We'll play this black and blue here. Baleful Strix, give me a land. I'll turn 5. Totally forgot. Boom, that's a land. Perfect. Spike that land that we wanted. Unfortunately, we have all 4 drops. So what I would do in this case is continue to ramp. We de-ramped 1 person. Now we have a good blocker in the way. We'll cast our Solemn Simulacrum here. Love ramping. Solemn Simulacrum. Crack this and maybe attack, and get 3 lands all at once. But let's just get these 2 lands first. We'll crack this and get a basic. So we want the basic island because we need blue. We only have 1 blue. We'll get the basic island from Solemn Simulacrum. Pluto Delta. Can get us an untapped land, but we don't really need it. So let's get a trio. Get good mana. Zagoth trio there. Perfect. We'll tentatively shuffle our deck. Let's say we go after the mono green player again. Again, we flicker this, give them a 2/2, take another mana rock, and then get another basic land, which is super cool. So we'll just get another, let's get a plains this time. Get a plains, and then we'll re-equip this with our Baleful Strix. Right there, so you can give Death Touch, kill any green or white creatures without it itself dying. So tap that. So the value train has arisen. And remember, Skyclave Apparition is there to just remove problematic permanents, not just mana rocks. So That is also an option. So now we have lots of blockers for days. These can be chump blockers. Tons of mana now. We are going on. All right, turn 6. We will untap our stuff again. Rearrange. Tons of land. This is great. The sort of Hearth and Home is great. Draw a card, a land. We don't mind that at all. We play our land here. So now we could just play Atraxa Grand Unifier. So always tap the right mana. Get green, blue, white, black, 1 colorless, 2 colorless, and 3 colorless. All right, we're doing the thing. Atraxa ETB, top 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got creature, land, creature, enchantment, creature, land. So this is not the greatest hit, but you know, sometimes it is what it is. So we'll take the enchantment, obviously. We will we played our land this turn, so we'll take our Bojuka Bog, one of the most powerful lands here. And creature, see how much mana we have. We have 4 mana. Well, we'll take the Feldar Guardian here. Maybe we take the Reliquary Tower just to keep our hand, you know. And we'll take the Feldar Guardian because why not? We'll just put these back on the bottom of the library. Here, that's unfortunate. But guess what we get to do? Again. Right, we got the 4 mana. We'll tap this 4 mana. We'll play Feldar Guardian. Blink Atraxa. That's exciting, right? We'll put this aside. We'll blink Atraxa. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom. Okay. See what we get. Land. Oh yeah, Planeswalker. Oh yeah. Land. We get enchantment. Sorcery. Enchantment. Creature. We only have 1 creature. So Muldrifter is going to our hand. 1 sorcery. That's going to our hand. 1 Planeswalker is going to our hand. We have another creature here, but oh yeah, we want this creature. Screw Muldrifter. We don't want this. Enchantment, Black Market Connection, land. We want untapped land. I think Mana Confluence is really good. Okay, we'll take that there. And that is our draw 5. That's pretty sweet, right? Land, enchantment, creature, planeswalker, sorcery. No instant though. Oh well. It's pretty good, isn't it? So just drew a bunch of cards, refilled with our commander. It's only turn 6. This is great. And we have 9 cards, but we do have the Thought Vessel here to protect us from discard. If they do kill us, kill it, you know, discard 2 cards, not bad. We got Reliquary Tower as another form of protection later. Here, we got Emil the Bless coming up. There, you can keep blinking Atraxa, get more value right there. Black Market Connection, get more value. Eternal Wanderer, you can play this, wipe out everything except for your Atraxa and their whatever card, or you can play this and blink Atraxa. So that's amazing there too. So you get some 2 blinkers, you can blink your Atraxa, 3 blinkers here. If you need emergency board wipe, you get Farewell, Timeless Witness, and get something back that you've played. Feldar Retreat, more ETB synergies. So you can see how good this deck is. It's all about value, blinking, super fun, ETBs. This does get shut down by opposing Elesh Norns, of course, right? A lot of decks get shut down by opposing Elesh Norns. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video so far, you enjoy this deck tech, give the video a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be alerted for new videos in the future. And as always, I have my deck list in the description below, along with all my cool affiliate links. And get your Atraxas out there because she is valuable. And you know what? Even playing her, drawing 3 cards, still felt good. I drew the important card I needed. Boom. Flickered her, drew more cards. So this is an insane value commander, and I hope everybody enjoys playing her. And I also hope everybody has a wonderful day.